Hey guys, so this is just a quick video to show you that the C200 is possible to fit on the Ronin-M. If you have a Ronin-M and you've got a C200, or you're thinking about getting the C200 and you're wondering whether it's gonna fit, I've tried a few things now and I can show you how it kind of works. So basically the ideal situation for the C200 on the Ronin-M is with a 24 to 105 f4. What you can do there is you've got the range from 24 to 105, and you've also got the best possible tilt and pan power with the motors, because it's just a light enough lens that it balances kind of perfectly. So it's not great in low light, I guess, because it's f4, but it does, in my opinion, work the best out of what I've tried, the 24-105 and the 24 to 70 2.8 series 2, which is what I have on here at the moment. Now I wanted to try this lens just because I was on a few shoots where I really wanted to just get a low light lens on this setup. And the thing is though, it's just a little bit too heavy. This lens is just a little bit too heavy. So what I've had to do, and if you're thinking of doing this, you're gonna have to get, first of all, the BPA 60 battery, which gives you a little bit of overhang at the back, and so that helps as a counterweight. Plus you also need to get these counterweights, which I got in this parts and components counterweight set. It's called the Ronin-M / MX counterweight set. You can get it from DJI for about 300 bucks Aussie, 200 USD. So yeah, you'll just basically need to chuck on this big one on the back of the base plate. It just connects, and then also screw in another little one under it like that with a couple of screws. And basically the upside is, if you are using this configuration, it's pretty easy to quickly balance, because the only way it's going to work is if within a hair's breadth here, let me see if I can get a good angle. Yeah, then a hair's breadth there, it kind of just swings through, and that's when you know it's properly balanced, when you've pushed it all the way to the back there and it's almost touching the back but not. And that just happens to be what kind of perfectly balanced looks like with this. Of course it's not perfect because of these cables, but as you can see, it's pretty suspended there, and you know, it works within the range that DJI says, which is less than 10 tilt, pan and roll pressure being put on the motors. So you can do that just by bringing up the DJI Assistant app and checking it. I got it down to about a roll of like 5 or 6, and then tilt 2, pan 2. So that was actually pretty decent when I fired it up. So anyway, what you want to do is, I'll just swing this around. When you're putting it on the Ronin, you really just want to have you know, one of these ball clamps, cheap Chinese $5 ball clamps, on one of those clamps, and then I got the monitor sort of up here with the cable coming down and actually crossing over to the camera there. I just found that that's the best. There's another video online that suggests that. And then I've got over here the hand grip on top of a small rig piece, which was like 50 bucks on eBay, and I've got a Zacuto what you call it, handheld grip set. So it just comes with this cable, and if you don't have one of these, I think Shape sells them as well. So yeah, luckily this small rig thing fitted, because it didn't say that it was compatible with the C200 thingo, but yeah, it kind of perfectly, just luckily enough, fits in. Where is it? Just kind of fits in this gap enough to kind of wedge it in there, and it screws on really tightly. So that's pretty nice. Alright, let me just fire this up just so I can show you that it actually does work, so you don't have to take my word for it. Apologies for the terrible image quality as well. Shaky handheld camera. This is just on my iPhone. So turn on that. Turn on that. I always just hold it in place a little bit so it doesn't have to struggle too hard. Cool. And then of course you use the auto tune feature in DJI Assistant to just take out the crinkles. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty good. I'll tell you what though, it's pretty heavy. With this lens and the counterweight, you're gonna want a small rig. If you can get a small rig, it's even better, but you know, it works. Pans, no problem. The tilt, it's a little bit delayed. I'd say it struggles most with the tilt. And there's a little bit of boating if you're really whipping around and going up and down, but if you're a pretty smooth operator, I mean, this works, it actually works. I'll show you some footage before on this lens that I took before, and yeah, not too bad. The only other thing I forgot to mention is, yeah, with this you're going to want to come up here, tie it up there before coming around and up, because if this is just resting directly on here, you'll have some roll pressure issues. Yeah, the most difficult thing with the C200 really is getting the monitor to work, because this cable is just so thick, it just pulls on the motors a little bit, but I mean this works, and I like having the original monitor on there rather than, like, I was thinking about getting an HDMI cable, a really thin one, to just come up here and use another monitor, but I just like the look of this monitor. Plus you've got controls here. If you need to get into the menu, you can. If you want to get even fancier and make life a bit more difficult, you can do some touch to focus here while on the Ronin, which is pretty incredible if you can manage that. But yeah, what I would really say is the 24-105, because then you can lose this. Again, the way that you balance it is just to slide this whole thing all the way back basically until it almost hits the back, and then it just randomly seems to be perfectly balanced. Yeah, if like me you're struggling to get this clamp closed on the extended base plate that you'll get with the counterweight set, you actually just need to tighten this screw. I didn't know that, but you tighten this screw while the camera's on there, and then it really clamps quite tightly, so that works. And yeah, these levels here, it's about 4.5. I brought it up a little bit just to give a little bit more power to the motors. So the higher the camera, the more center balanced it is, and the motors just have a little bit more grunt. I try not to drop it all the way if you can avoid it, but actually you'll have to drop it all the way for the 24-105 f4 lens, because this is gone and it just changes the configuration. This is all the way to the back, and the roll will vary quite a lot, but yeah, you know, it's about there. Yeah, and that's it. It works great. You got the autofocus on, so there's no focus pulling. You're just having a good time. You're getting some really great footage on, you know, a pretty lightweight, you know, cheapish gimbal. And yeah, hope that helped, guys.